We take printed documents for granted, but consider what life would be like today if the printing press had never been invented. Books, magazines, and newspapers would not exist. We can swiftly and in vast numbers share large volumes of knowledge thanks to the printing press. The printing press is so vital that it has been dubbed one of the most important innovations of our time. It had a significant impact on the evolution of society. Prior to the invention of the printing press, all writings and drawings had to be meticulously created by hand. Books were transcribed using a variety of materials including clay and papyrus, wax, and parchment. This wasn't something that just anybody could perform. It was mainly reserved for scribes who lived and worked in monasteries. The scriptorium was a particular room in the monasteries. The scribe would operate in quietness, estimating and sketching page layouts before meticulously copying text from another book. Later, the illuminator would take over and decorate the pages with drawings and flourishes. Books were mainly only held by monasteries, educational organizations, or highly wealthy people during the Dark Ages and Middle Ages. The majority of the books were purely religious. A family may be fortunate enough to own a book, which in this scenario is a book of the Bible. Johannes Gutenberg, a German merchant, was searching for a way to generate money in the late 1430s. Gutenberg is thought to have been born in Mainz, Germany in 1399. He later adopted his family's settling place as his last name. He was a jeweler, gem cutter, and metallurgist by trade. He lived at Strasbourg for a while, most likely in the late 1430s or early 1440s. He had been losing money in his firm for a while and needed to find a way to pay off his debts. He began developing a technology that would allow him to print text utilizing movable letter and graphic blocks. With these blocks, paper, ink, and a press, it would be easy to print books far faster and cheaper than ever before. He cast 290 blocks of letters and symbols out of metals he was familiar with, and developed a linseed and soot-based ink with a consistency he thought was suitable for printing on handmade paper. He modified a wine press so that he could slide paper in and out of it as well as squeeze water out of the paper after printing. In 1450, he put his movable type machine to the test by printing a Latin book on public speaking. After completing this project, he moved on to his most renowned undertaking, the printing of the Gutenberg Bibles. Gutenberg utilized metal blocks instead of wood blocks, because the metal block letters would be relocated around to generate new words and sentences. This became known as a movable type machine. Gutenberg used this machine to create the first printed book, which was, of course, a copy of the Bible. For its historical significance, the Gutenberg Bible is now a very valued and beloved artifact. Gutenberg's press was the result of a combination of discoveries and innovations. The printing press was based on a typical screw press, which was a forerunner to today's drill press, but with the addition of a matrix on which individually cast letters and symbols could be assembled to make the necessary text. Instead of tediously carving letters and symbols from a block of wood as in the block printing press, this movable type configuration allows pages of text to be instantly built from a precast selection of letters and symbols. In addition, Gutenberg developed an oil-based ink that transferred from his metal type to the printing substrate far more effectively than the water-based inks used by other printers at the time. Gutenberg would lay the appropriate letters on the matrix and cover them in his ink to print a page. The matrix was then installed on the customized screw press contact end and lowered until it hit the paper beneath. While the procedure was time-consuming, it enabled Gutenberg to print pages at a considerably quicker pace than block printers or those working on manuscripts. The printing revolution in the Western world began with Johannes Gutenberg's movable type press, a watershed moment in the history of knowledge and learning.
With the introduction of the printing press, the printing industry transitioned from hand printing to mechanical printing. In a couple of decades, he transformed Europe's mental landscape.
The new invention of the printing press resulted in the formation of organizations of scientists
who were then able to readily convey their experiments and discoveries by utilizing widely distributed academic journals, thus demonstrating how books contributed to the scientific revolution. The growing popularity of the printing press made authorship a more appealing career since it was more lucrative and had a deeper purpose.